14 years ago, I started a business focused on the startup and small employer space. We offer fractional HR services to small employers. I consider a small employer any employer with 500 or less employees. I don't care about revenue. You could be doing 120 million, 600 million, but if you are doing it with 500 employees or less, you are a small employer to me. I thought it was going to be a really easy transition. My corporate career had been in big business and big employee populations, 3,000 to 125,000. And I thought, this is going to be a breeze. This is going to be so easy jumping into small employer life with 20 employees, 80 employees. How easy is that going to be? I was so wrong. I was in for quite a rude awakening. And those people, those managing HR inside of a small employer, that's who this podcast is for. Managing human resources in a small employer is like living in a small town. Everybody's in everybody's business. Most people are related to one another somehow. The mayor is also the sheriff, is also the local dog walker. You have limited budget, limited resources. It is so vastly different than living in a big city. And that's the same for managing HR inside of a small employer. It is so vastly different than managing inside of a larger organization where you may have an entire team and employees that you never even meet or never even see and talk to in person. What I quickly learned is that while the laws may not change, how you manage compliance and things like that doesn't change. The way you go about navigating humans, the soft skills needed to manage human resources inside of a small employer is so vastly different. You are front and center and sometimes probably feel like everything to everyone every single day. On top of that, you may be somebody who doesn't even have a background in human resources. If you think about the different types of people who could be managing HR in a 1 to 500, you could have a HR department of one, so maybe a generalist or a manager who has an HR background, but now they have to be experts in all of the disciplines of HR. You could have a small HR team on the larger end. You could have maybe a manager director with a generalist or a recruiter, maybe a specialist, and they have to manage everything for hundreds of employees. You could have Bob or in finance or Sarah in marketing who are just good at those jobs. And so the CEO decided they should also do HR. Or you could be a CEO who has a very small team and has no real need or doesn't feel like you have a real need for human resources. So you're just kind of winging it. You're just kind of figuring it out yourself. And you are CEO and salesperson and HR manager. The amount of different types of people who are managing human resources inside of a small employer makes that alone, that very thing alone, makes managing human resources different. And so when I thought about, do we really need another podcast? Do we need another human resources related podcast? I think we do. And I think we need one focused in on that group. When I started the business and I started looking for resources to help me figure out how to do this differently, how do I take what I knew from big business? How do I take the HR things that I had done, the soft skills that I had learned and scale that to a small employer? I had a steep learning curve. And the information out there is not built for small employers. If you think about all of the different HR communities, if you go and read the blogs, if you look at the vendors and what they're pushing out, if you go to the conferences, what you're going to find is that 95% of the content is focused in on large organizations. Even the places that have HR department of one or small business tracks, those tracks are so compliance focused. It's so how to get it all done in a day, how to time manage, how to, make sure that you're running payroll correctly. All of that's important. I'm not discrediting that that's important information, but what I think is more valuable is how do I navigate? How do I have the soft skills? What are the soft skills that I need when I have 30 employees? And just like in that small town, they're all in each other's business, they're all related, they're all angry. One toxic employee can completely derail an entire small organization for a period of time. How do I navigate that? So that's what I want to give you in this podcast. We are calling this podcast the HR Connection. And the reason is that handling HR in a small employer can feel like you are on an island all by yourself, especially if you are the single person handling HR. There is no team to bounce ideas off of. Because you're human resources, you have to act a little differently with employees. You can't be as friendly as maybe other departments get to be. And so it can feel very isolated and very lonely. And if you don't have a good community around you, then you don't have anybody to bounce ideas off of, to check for understanding. Are you interpreting this law correctly? Are you thinking about this right? You have no one that you can really share the pain of managing HR the way you are with. And so that's what we hope to be. We hope that through the videos, through the podcast, we are sharing real insights and real help and building a real community that you can use to get through your day inside of a small organization. We are doing this too. So our clients are all under 500 employees. We offer full fractional support. And what that means is that sometimes we come in and we are their entire HR team, and sometimes we are just doing, one-off ad hoc projects with them. But whatever we are doing, it is inside of a small organization. So we are dealing with limited budget. We're dealing with limited resources. Because we're fractional support, we're doing it on limited hours. And I went from being by myself for many, many years to now having a team. And the difference in having people who share in the experiences that you are sharing in is so immensely wonderful. To go from being alone and not really having anybody that I can talk to about the things that I'm facing, the challenges that I'm having, to now having people who are in it with me. It is such a better place to be and such a better way to work and so much more comforting. And so that's what we hope to give you. If you are managing human resources in a small employer, and it doesn't matter if you are the marketing person managing HR as well, if you are a CEO, if you are an actual HR professional who is doing it alone or as part of a small team, we want to expand your community. We want to expand the people that you are able to interact with, the advice that you get, and make sure that everything that we are sharing with you is tailored to you. So you're not going to get anything that is going to be crazy budgets, crazy time consuming. We know where you are. We see you, we hear you every single day. And that's the type of content we're going to be sharing in this podcast. So whether you are watching me on video or just listening to me, maybe driving into work, I hope that you will subscribe and come back often to hear the insights and the support that we are going to share, tailored specifically to anyone managing HR in a small employer.